Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Info Table. I'm your host, Sean Barker. We have two special guests with us tonight. We have the Chief of Staff, Chase Davis, and the Lieutenant Governor, Joseph Houchin. Say hi to everybody.
Hello, everyone. I'm
Hello,
Chase
folks,
Davis.
and I am Joseph Houchin.
So tonight, we are going to be talking about some bills that were recently passed within the government. So the main topic tonight is going to be HR Bill 0026. It reads, in the state of San Andreas, Representative Caucus, Joseph Houchin has introduced the following bill, which is being referred to the state legislature for approval. The State Emergency Shelter Act of 2023. Division 1A, the order of any number of state emergency shelters to be constructed in the state of San Andreas for government and civilian use during required times. 1B says the elected companies to fulfill the building contracted are Public Works and Houchin Dynamics. Division 2A says the protection of government-owned and operated emergency shelters will be provided by Heracles LLC. Division 2B says Heracles LLC will be the only company hired for duty. Defined in Division 2A, the duty can only be upheld by Heracles LLC. So, Mr. Houchin, you wrote this bill and it was approved by the legislature?
Yes, sir, it was.
Alright, so with this bill, it says that there's going to be shelters created throughout the state for emergency use for the government officials and civilians.
Yes, sir.
Okay, my question is to you, with these two entities, I guess you could say, between the civilians and the government agency, is there going to be separate shelters for each, or is it going to be anyone can go into any shelter?
Preferably, the act will enact there will be a single government shelter where any government employee can go to take shelter and continue doing their job within the shelter. Then there will be civilian shelters, which will be the same quality as state government-owned shelters, but they'll be protected by, say, the state police or the Los Santos police department, or if there's one of the Sandy Shores, there'll be the Blaine County Sheriff Department to ensure that the maintained safety of these shelters are always in check. For state, it would either be the San Andreas National Guard and or Hercules Security Company LLC.
Okay, so let me hit this real quick. You said Hercules Security Company LLC?
It should be Hercules LLC. It may be misspelled in the bill document. If so, I will go back and have that recorrected for the records.
Okay, yes, the bill document does not say Hercules, it says Heracles LLC. So my
Yes,
question is, my question is, for the government, how would something like this pass through the government? You know, if it's spelled incorrectly, that could possibly lead to a bunch of different unrecognized problems with paperwork if the bill itself that starts all of this is spelled incorrectly. So my question to you as the lieutenant governor, is it that easy for misspells and problems with paperwork to pass through the government and be posted publicly?
No, sir. I was never informed of any error after having peers read through the document. I have no idea how this was missed, and it will not occur again.
And it will not occur again, you say?
Yes, it will not occur again.
Okay. So my next question is about Houchin Dynamics. Excuse me, me myself, I have never heard of this company. Is there any way you can tell me a little bit about it? Because I'm guessing with your last name, you're somehow involved with this company.
Yes, sir. Houchin Dynamics is a up and coming company that is really into everything. They create objects, they outsource them. Recently, Public Works has purchased the license production for solar panels to be used throughout the state that was designed and approved by Houchin Dynamics.
Oh, okay. And this Hercules LLC, like I said, myself, I've never heard of them. Is there any way you can tell me a little bit about them, if you don't mind?
They are an really mildly out there security company. They are based out of Germany, so I say it'd be really hard to hear about them. But from what I've heard through my people within the German region, family, friends, coworkers, they are very good at their job, and we want the best here in Los Santos and throughout San Andres to protect its people.
Okay, and you as lieutenant governor, you know, your friends and your family, and you said your people, end quote, from Germany. Do any of these people know who runs and operates this business?
They don't. I do. I've had talks and contact with the current CEO along with some of the board members. I don't want to really give any names out until we are ensured that the current people there working are still there when I do give these names out.
Okay, so you're not willing to release any names?
Not at this moment, sir, no.
Okay. So you mentioned that, you know, these different facilities would be protected by the law enforcement of that area.
Yes, along with San Andres. Uh,
The National Guard?
yes, sir. I'm very sorry. I'm
No,
having
you're fine. You're fine. I'm bringing a lot of
Yes.
questions on you. It's understandable.
Yes, they'll be guarded by either the law enforcement agencies and or with National Guard.
Okay, and but in the House bill here, it says that the protection of government-owned and operated emergency shelters will be provided by Hercules LLC. That is corrected from what it actually says. And it says in Part B, Division 2, Hercules will be the only company hired for duty defined in Division 2A. The duty can only be upheld by Hercules. So, stating that in the bill, technically, wouldn't you saying that the law enforcement agencies protecting these facilities would go against that bill entirely?
No, sir. Hercules LLC will be protecting only government operated facilities, which would not be public uh, shelters. So any government used shelter, say government official shelter, where any official, like say I, Lieutenant Governor, or Mr. Chase Davis here, Chief of Staff, the representatives, any state worker that has clearance, which should be 99.9% of them, will be using these state shelters, and their civilian shelters, which will be operated by leaders of the communities around the state of Los Santos and within San Andres.
Okay. So, so another question for you. You talk about this Hercules as if, you know, they're going to be protecting the state. You said, you know, you're working on getting them to help protect the citizens and stuff. Do you not trust the local entities that are here, the law enforcement or the National Guard? Let me reiterate that, to protect the government officials and state employees that the actual law enforcement of San Andreas State Police would actually be classified under?
Currently at this time, my trust in these services begin to dwindle and wane. I just wish to have a backup plan for people like us. You know, we are very high value targets against criminals because we're trying our best to stop them. I mean, I personally have been kidnapped, assaulted, had been fired upon by multiple criminals at several times throughout the past month. I personally do not feel safe with our state police and or National Guard.
Okay, that's understandable. That's understandable. Let me let me add this though. So, you're talking about all these things that are happening to you due to the violence that's currently in Los Santos. How do you think the law enforcement of the state feel, as they are the frontline defense? I've been doing a little bit of research, and that I know of a lot of law enforcement officers that are employed by the state, the county, and the municipality of Los Santos have been injured in the past couple weeks because of this violence, due to gunshots and blunt force trauma items and that sort of thing. So, I mean, you're kind of in line with them. How do you think they feel?
I'd say they probably don't feel too well getting shot at and beaten and kidnapped and all this and that, but I can't do very much to stop this from happening. I'm trying my best, but I, as the governor, cannot just go up and demand these criminals to stop. They are against law. They have no reason to follow the law if they're going to commit crimes in the first place. So the best I can do is just have the National Guard and cooperate with these officers and try our best to find these criminals and serve them justice. I wish I could stop all the crimes in just the snap of a finger, but it's not going to happen. And that's going to happen. People will be shot at, they'll be assaulted, but the best we can do is just fight back and hope that we can end this once and for all.
So, adding on to that question, I asked how they feel. How do you think they feel when they're left out there? I understand it's their job, and, it's part of grabbing that badge and wearing that badge on their chest. But how do you think they feel when they're out there fighting this crime and their government officials are hiding behind some third-party hired security company, and the government is saying that this third-party security company is probably going to protect them better than our own boys in blue?
Sir, I would gladly, feel proud about the blue stripe. I've had no problems personally with law enforcement officers, but it just seems within the more crime that occurs, just the less and less they are failing at their job to protect us. And I know they're trying their best, but eventually there always has to be a plan B. Because what would happen if, there's no, well, let's say the police fall, law enforcement fall, there's no one to protect us, who's going to do it? National Guard falls, then who's going to do it? And currently, we have no backing, as I know of, from the United States military other than our National Guard. Because they just do not deem it enough as a threat and that we should take care of it on our own accord.
My last and final question for you is, with all of this being said and everything that we've just discussed, what do you think the future plans are for the law enforcement of San Andreas?
Currently, at this time, I really do not have a current plan. I'm working with my advisors and, state representatives to see what we can do to support the law enforcement officers to get them back to the spot where they need to be and supporting us and supporting the people. And that's all I can really say at this moment.
All right, thank you. Mr. Chief of Staff Davis, do you have anything you'd like to mention or say?
I have no comment at this time.
All right, well, I appreciate the both of you coming in and talking to me. I think that's going to be a wrap for this episode. I appreciate the viewers out there watching this. We appreciate your time and taking the dedication and trying to learn and get the info that we need to know how the government and the law enforcement and everything that's going on in the state of San Andreas is looking for us. Appreciate you guys. Have a good night. We'll see you later.